Okay, hello everybody, and welcome to the closing ceremony. So Savin and I are going to provide some closing remarks and parting words for you, and this will be followed by an invitation to next year's ICIS meeting. And I want to start out by just telling you that we really wanted to host everybody here in Seattle this year. The arrow on the left points to the new building, the Grand Hyatt, where we would have congregated had COVID-19 not come along. But we hope to lure people back for a meeting in 2025. I want to start out by saying the lightning talks were incredible, excellent, and I think they had a huge impact. And I say that because I visited the chat sessions during the lightning talks, and they were loaded with good interactions and good comments, as good as you can possibly get in a virtual meeting. So I thank all the lightning talk presenters for their time and effort to make this meeting a success. We heard great talks about systems-based approaches, cell-based biochemical approaches, molecular genetic studies of cytokine actions throughout the meeting. Some highlights here include multiple sessions on SARS-CoV-2, which when we first planned the meeting, we did not have, of course, any SARS-CoV-2 stuff even considered. But as things progressed, it was quite clear that this society and the work that's going on across the field is very relevant to this pandemic and control and taking care of patients. So these COVID-19 sessions specifically highlighted the molecular and physiological basis of disease with SARS-CoV-2. And that was absolutely timely and spot on. We heard about microbiome, microbial genetics, cytokine interactions, virus-host interactions, terrific timely work, and of course my favorite, innate immunity and its linkage with innate immune programming, digging into the functions of specific interferon-stimulated genes. And something that really popped up new to me this year was a larger focus on what I call CSGs, cytokine-stimulated genes. So that was a real welcome addition to this meeting that I think is going to continue, because it reveals the nature of many talks that went on telling us all about cytokine crosstalk, how it's good, how it's bad, but how it serves to program the outcome of infection and immunity, and underlies, in some cases, autoimmunity. The next thing after the first day is people could have walked down the hill from the hotel to some of our favorite bars, shared a drink with us. We would have certainly hosted you all, and certainly taken a ferry ride across the saltwater to some of their favorite restaurants over there. But coming back to the meeting is we had great talks on inflammation, how it can be modulated to mitigate disease. And certainly some of the favorite talks I heard today were on CNS, central nervous system inflammation, and enteric nervous system inflammation, including linkage with cognitive disorders. Just wonderful work, all linked back to cytokine regulation. We heard about genetics of disease and cytokine genes and interferon-stimulated gene SNPs that are now being linked with specific diseases and autoimmune conditions. We heard about novel outcomes of STATs within the JAK-STAT pathway, non-canonical signaling that underlies differential responses in immunity and certainly outcome of cancers. Cytokine modulation of the tumor microenvironment is a very important area that's obviously growing in this field, and interventions for controlling cancer based on modulation of cytokines that in turn modulate the tumor microenvironment were presented several times, and I thought that was pretty impressive work. Novel pathways of pathogen-associated molecular pattern detection. Again, this lends back to innate immunity, some of my favorite topics, but really hearing about how these novel pathways function to underlie autoimmune conditions, known as interferonopathies, and outcomes of different autoimmune diseases, and how targeting these processes of PAMP signaling could perhaps mitigate even autoimmune disease. We heard a bit about RNA regulation of immunity, and that is RNA modification, RNAs that signal, again, the innate immune response, link RNAs in control of cytokine regulations. Terrific work. There was talks on barrier defenses, how cytokines modulate barrier defenses, very relevant for several different infectious diseases and processes involving microbial translocation leading to inflammation. And some of my favorites also were cytokines in type-specific immune response dynamics, Th17 response versus Th1 versus Th2, and signatures of multiple cytokine interactions from systems biology approaches that program the immune response and immune dynamics. And then finally, you heard at the end of the day, as the day started today, the start of the day, I mean, last day of the talk, is the vaccinology. And I think what hit home there was the complex cytokine interactions that can serve to program vaccine immunity, considering that vaccines can engage cytokines and leverage their activities as adjuvants. So, but what I want to leave everybody with, I think, is the big focus that I feel the field has engaged in a big way, and that's understanding the interface of innate and adaptive immunity and the role of cytokines in those processes. And then we heard a lot of preclinical talks today, preclinical research on mitigating cytokine responses to alleviate disease, which I think is absolutely wonderful to see our field leading in this area of translating basic research into clinical applications. So I think it overall was a terrific meeting. I congratulate everybody for coming with this, responding well to the virtual platform, and for all the wonderful interactions and the terrific science. So thank you very much.
Okay, so I just want to acknowledge a lot of people here who made this meeting possible, especially the local organizing committee, Sarah, Ming, Neha, Steve, and Renee, for all their hard work, the IOC, of course, the speakers for giving amazing talks, and also moderators for making it virtual lively. You know, on the way, even though it was virtual, we made some history. We had about 1,000 participants from 42 countries and 291 abstracts. Out of them, 78 were invited speakers, 39 were selected talks from abstracts. And like what Mike mentioned, the lightning talks, there were 223, which was really an interesting experiment to see how we could convert the poster session to lightning talks. And I think it was well received. There was a lot of people who liked the lightning talk format. So, and also, of course, with all the speakers, the lineup was really enriched the meeting, I think. So our biggest challenge was switching this meeting that was held to be in Seattle to a virtual one. And there were several challenges, and people on the slide put their hearts and mind to accomplish this transition. And, you know, Joan, you all know Joan. Thank you for making everything happen. The MCI group, they're really great. Coralie, John, Gail, and Candace, who handled the logistics of the meeting. They were just amazing. And of course, the lab roots, and we didn't know much about online platforms, and this was one of the best platforms we thought would cater our needs. Tracy, Antonina, Tyler, and Pat just worked with us really well. There were a few glitches, but you know, these new platforms are hard, but at the same time, they gave us a nice platform to work with. So, of course, I'd like to thank the officers, Kate and the society officers, for just being awesome and being highly supportive throughout the planning and execution of the meeting. And there was a virtual networking committee, and this was a challenge. And Sarah, Kurt Horath, Juan, and Adriana, they really worked hard for a month to come up with a way to interact with the junior investigators. I think they did a great job, and I heard it was a blast. And there were a lot of people out there late in the evening having drinks on that platform. So I think it went really well. Of course, we couldn't have done this without our sponsors, the platinum sponsors, silver sponsors, bronze sponsors and also exhibitors. And they actually stuck with us when they knew that we were going online. So still, thank you very much. And of course, NIAID for also supporting this meeting. And thank you for getting onto the platform, interacting with the platform. And there are some people who really interacted with the platform and won some prizes. And June will contact you and distribute all the prizes, and the top winners are listed on this. And of course, the live tweeters, thank you very much. Really, this helped people talk about the Cytokine Society and think about attending Cytokine Society in subsequent years. And the few tweets which got a lot of attention are listed here, John's, Kate's, as well as Ivan's. But I think John's tweet was the funniest. So, but don't forget to take the meeting survey. The link will be available in the lobby, as well as an email will be sent to you all. We would like to hear how this meeting went and what we could do to make it better in the years ahead. And finally, we both thank you for attending and hope to see you in Cardiff in 2021. And the next presentation will be from Simon, inviting you to Cardiff. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you, everyone. It's been a fantastic meeting. Michael and the organizers need to be congratulated for an amazing program. Let's hope we can be a bit more optimistic about seeing you in the real world next year. My job is to introduce the meeting for 2021, which will be hosted in Cardiff, which is in Wales in the UK. And as you can see, this is the venue where we'll be hosting the event, hopefully. Our organizing team are in place, and here we can see that Luke O'Neill from Dublin, Claire Bryan from Cambridge, Claire Lloyd from London, Ian McGuinness from Glasgow, and myself from Cardiff will be organizing the committee, organizing the meeting this year. We've already made some great progress towards the program. So in this particular sense, we're really thinking about what the program will look like. And we're working it around the idea of sensing and interpreting cytokine and interferon cues in health and disease. This is really kind of coming together now as a program which will involve both fundamental discovery science as well as translational and clinical medicine research, which will be cutting edge at the time of the next meeting. So what will it look like? Well, hopefully we can see that the meeting will be in the real world and we can see you all in Cardiff, hopefully. But we also realize that in these difficult times, then the online platform will be becoming more and more prominent at conferences. And so ultimately we may be having a blended program for Cardiff in 2021. And in January or February of 2021, we'll make a decision as to whether that will be hosted in the real world or whether it'll be totally online at that stage. Let's hope it'll be in the real world. Cardiff is a beautiful place to come. So Croeso I Cardiff, welcome to Cardiff. And you can see here that the venue up in the top right-hand corner is beautifully located in the center of the city. Did I tell you it's next door to a castle? Well, I have now. There's two of them right here on the pictures, as you can see. The town is very much close to the Bay Area, you can see here in the middle, and is also highly pedestrianized with walkways and alleyways full of shops and bars and restaurants. So I think you'll have a fantastic time. Is it accessible? Yes. World travel destinations to Cardiff are about 2 hours away from London in the UK, by train or by car. And of course, it has easy access from other international airports, including Birmingham, Bristol, and across the water to Dublin in Ireland. All of these are connected via flights or by car or via train and should be easily for you to get to. Working with the Cardiff City Council, we've also been able to get discounts on trains for people to come from London. So that'll be an added bonus for you, and you can look out for the discount vouchers when you apply to join. Cardiff also has an international airport. It's 12 miles away from the city centre, connecting itself with European destinations, also through Dublin, through Paris, through Amsterdam, directly to Cardiff. Once, of course, you're there, the traveling via bus or by train or by taxi is convenient. It's only about half an hour away by bus, and actually the taxis are running all the time. And once you're in the city centre, there'll be probably no need for you to buy a taxi ticket or a bus ticket or a train ticket again. The whole area in the city is truly accessible. It is highly pedestrianised. It's a small town. It has a small city with a really vibrant community with bars and restaurants in the centre. All the hotels are within close walking distance of the venue. And we also have the city bay where we'll have loads of kind of events going on, including the main banquet in the evening on one of the nights. The venue itself is only, like I said, 2 or 3 minutes away from all of the hotels that we've arranged. And working with the Cardiff City Council, we've managed to negotiate really good discount prices on the main hotels within the city centre. And this will be a fantastic opportunity for you to walk around the area and to get a real flavour for the Wales as a whole. Luke, of course, he might be putting back the band together. We'll have to see. You know, those of you who went to the 2018 meeting will remember that boat trip very favourably. And in 2021, he's hoping to put that back together again, and we'll have the banquet arranged in the Coal Exchange, which is in Cardiff Bay. It's where the first £1 million cheque was signed in 1904, and it's a fantastic venue for this particular event. So I'm hoping that you'll come. So with that in mind, I'd just like to say we hope to see you all in Cardiff. It's very difficult times at the moment, and we just pray for a better time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, that's great. Thank you very much. And I hope to see everybody again in Cardiff.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much.